This is the news at 7 on High Impact Television. I am Oluwaseun Olusegun. Here are today's top stories. Nigerian Senate to avert mass revolt by bridging poverty gap. Heavy security in South Sudan ahead of planned protest. Social media closed down in Eritrea. House Democrats to read Mueller report allowed in Capitol hearing room. Harvey Weinstein's former film studio plans to liquidate in bankruptcy. And in sports, Harry Kane in England's squad despite unknown fitness. Now for the news in detail. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, has revealed the nation's economic development, particularly in the last 50 years, and submitted that the country has receded. According to Emefiele, who appeared before the Senate for screening in respect of his reappointment, times ahead would be very tough and rough too. He said that upon his return from a particular Asian country of recent, he became sad that Nigeria had not recorded the kind of progress it ought to have recorded. Emefiele expressed worries about the country's population growth rate without viable economic base, as well as serious propensity for improvements. To avert a looming violent revolution from poor Nigerians, Senator Chukwuka Utazi of Enugu North has sponsored a motion titled Bridging the Gap Between the Haves and the Have-Nots in Nigeria. The motion, which caused heated debate on the floor of the Senate, highlighted the many troubles of widespread abduction of persons, armed robbery, and ritual killings in Nigeria. In the motion, the lawmaker expressed concerns that the nation's poor masses may embark on a revolution against the rich, judging from recent events in the country. He stressed that the kidnappings and upsurge in banditry by criminal elements against Nigerians, which have defied all known security measures, confirmed his fears. He expressed worry that in the Northeast, terrorism and insurgency have assumed a full-blown war, and the armed forces and other security services are having a Herculean task containing all the points of terrorist activities. In Ghana, Ghana's security forces say they are not taking any chances as they deal with a revolutionary separatist movement seeking to forge a new West African nation. A joint police and military operation cracked down this month on a group that said it was preparing to declare its own nation in the eastern Volta region bordering Togo. Soldiers blocked roads and stormed houses, arresting 89 people across the region, most of them around the town of Ho, which is 150 kilometers northeast of Ghana's capital, Accra. In Sudan, there is a heavy deployment of security forces on the streets of South Sudanese capital, Juba, with door-to-door searches being carried out in some neighborhoods. This comes ahead of planned street protests in towns across the country and in the diaspora. The Red Card movement is calling for President Salva Kiir to step down and democratic elections to take place. The movement, a coalition of youth and women's groups, says it is time for the ruling class, symbolized by President Salva Kiir, to be removed. In a speech, President Kiir warned that any violent attempt to overthrow his government will be met with force. Social media services have been blocked in Eritrea, with people now sending messages via VPN. The reason for the shutdown is unclear, but speculation is that government has blocked social media sites to prevent people from using them to organize protests that could disrupt Independence Day celebration on 24th May. Discontent about the lack of political reform is growing in Eritrea, a one-party state ruled by President Isaias Afwerki since independence in 1993. According to Internet World Statistics, Eritrea has one of the lowest internet penetrations in the world. In 2018, it had only 71,000 internet users. They made up 1.3% of the population. Communication in Eritrea is strictly controlled by the government, and there is no private media. Also, the internet cannot be accessed via mobile phones. The report also described numerous attempts by Trump to impede Mueller's probe, but stopped short of declaring that the president committed a crime. Democrats who controlled the House are sparring with the White House over numerous probes into Trump and his campaign ties to Russia, the president's business dealings, and also administration policies. Democrats have requested a full, unredacted version of Mueller reports, 6 years of Trump's individual and business tax returns, and background on decisions made by the administration on security clearances and the separation of migrant families across the U.S.-Mexico border. The deadline for the administration to respond to a subpoena for the unredacted reports passed without being met. Trump has sued to block a congressional subpoena for financial records from his accounting firm. The White House has directed key staff not to cooperate with various House probes. An international crime gang which used malware to steal $100 million from more than 40,000 victims has been dismantled. A complex police operation conducted investigations in the US, Bulgaria, Germany, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. The gang infected computers with Gosney malware, which captured online banking details to access bank accounts. The gang was put together from criminals who advertised their skills on online forums. The details of the operation were revealed at the headquarters of the European Police Agency, Europol, in The Hague. It said that the investigation was unprecedented, especially in terms of cross-border cooperation. 5 banks have been fined €1.0 billion by the European Commission after traders clubbed together to rig the foreign exchange markets. 4 banks in the banana split cartel, Barclays, RBS, Citigroup, and JP Morgan, were fined €811 million in all. 3 banks in the Essex Express cartel, Barclays and RBS again, plus MUFG, were fined €258 million. A 6th bank, UBS, was excused financial penalties for revealing the cartel's existence. The European Commission said the market rigging took place from 2007 to 2013. The Commission's investigation, which began in September 2013, revealed that some individual foreign exchange traders, using online chat rooms, exchanged trading plans, and occasionally coordinated their trading strategies. The U.S. has declined to join an international initiative aimed at tackling the spread of terror online. The White House said that it supported the Christchurch call's aims, but was not in a position to join, citing the need for freedom of speech. The comments came as 5 of the world's biggest tech companies pledged to tackle extremist material. The Christchurch call was launched in response to a deadly terror attack that was live-streamed on Facebook. Missouri lawmakers have passed a controversial bill which would outlaw nearly all abortions at 8 weeks of pregnancy in the United States. The bill was approved by Missouri's Republican-led Senate by 24 votes to 10 on Thursday morning. Missouri's House and Republican Governor Mike Parson must back the bill before it can become law. If approved, abortions past 8 weeks would be banned in most cases, including rape or incest. Missouri's Democratic Senator Jill Shoup condemned the bill for failing to understand that women's lives all hold different stories. However, Republican Senators Dave Schatz and Caleb Rowden published a joint statement praising the life-affirming legislation. The film studio once run by Harvey Weinstein said it plans to liquidate in bankruptcy as it tries to resolve civil lawsuits against former directors and officers arising from sexual misconduct claims against the one-time Hollywood mogul. Lawyers for Weinstein Co. asked the Delaware bankruptcy judge to convert the studio's bankruptcy to a Chapter 7 liquidation from the Chapter 11 case filed in March 2018, according to papers filed on Tuesday night. Several rounds of mediation over the last 10 months have failed to resolve liability claims arising from Western's alleged misconduct, the lawyers said. Still in entertainment, the Rolling Stones have announced 17 rescheduled US and Canadian tour dates following singer Sir Mick Jagger's recent surgery. The No Feature tour will resume in Chicago on 21st June. The veteran band postponed a string of shows last month. Sir Mick reportedly had an operation to have a valve in his heart replaced. The 75-year-old showed his post-op moves in a social media video. In sport, Tottenham striker Harry Kane is one of 9 Champions League finalists named in England's initial 27-man squad for the inaugural Nations League finals, despite his fitness being an unknown. Kane has not played since injuring his left ankle in the first leg of Spurs Champions League quarter-final victory over Manchester City on 9th April. He is working to be fit for the Champions League final, said manager Gareth Southgate. Former French Open champion Maria Sharapova has withdrawn from this year's tournament because of her long-standing shoulder problem. The 32-year-old world number 35 has not played since pulling out of an event in her native Russia at the end of January and had a small operation in February. Sometimes the right decisions aren't always the easiest ones, the 5-time Grand Slam winner said. This year's French Open begins on 26th May and runs to 9th June. And that's a wrap on the news for 7, but before we go, here again are the top stories. Nigerian Senate avert mass revolt by bridging poverty gap. Heavy security in South Sudan ahead of planned protest. Social media closed down in Eritrea. House Democrats to read Mueller report aloud in Capitol hearing room. Harvey Weinstein's former film studio plans to liquidate in bankruptcy. And in sports, Harry Kane in England's squad despite unknown fitness. Thank you very much for staying with us. I am Oluwaseun Olusegun. Do have a great day.